Hi everyone, Michael Anfield here, and thank you for joining me. So here is the Canada's Food Guide, and I want to talk a little bit more about this and actually the details about this guide is on the government website. So you can find more about that at canada.ca/food guide. So let's see what this is. Now, this is a black and white version, a monochrome version, and it's not in color, and it's not really that high quality. But this is the little pamphlet that I found in Brampton when I was living there, and I wanted now just to talk about it. Even though I might have talked a little bit about it in my one of my previous videos. So here's the Canada Food Guide, and earlier this year, people were raving about how much plant foods are mentioned in this guide, and actually how there's really no mention of meat, dairy, or eggs, even though one group is called protein group. So this is a power as the what do you call it? As the U.S. food guideline says, it's like a power plate, but really it's the food guide. That's what they call it, a food guide. And so here we have plenty of vegetables and fruits. So that is the biggest portion on the plate. As you can see, it's about half of the plate. Now, as you can probably see, here's some apples, maybe some berries, some carrots, broccoli. Now, a lot of this to me, looks cooked. A lot of it. I don't know if you can see it by the camera, but a lot of it looks cooked. But you can see that half of it is fruits and vegetables. Now, they're not talking about papayas and mangoes and pineapples, because these really don't grow in Canada. So they're talking about things that really can grow in Canada. So it's really about locally grown food. So a lot of this looks cooked. And of course, because most people eat cooked foods. And it says have plenty of vegetables and fruits. So they emphasize on vegetables. Though, of course, a lot of people consider tomatoes and zucchinis and even squash to be considered vegetables. And they're actually fruit because they contain a seed. So these might be some kind of potato. These might be some kind of cabbage. Maybe celery here, or maybe even thinly sliced carrot sticks, apples, possibly even, yeah, these look like apples, strawberries, some kind of berries here, broccoli, carrot. These are carrots actually, so this might be celery, some green leafy greens, as you can see here. So half the plate already is filled with fruits and vegetables, which is a very, very good sign. Now, I would say this portion, in my opinion, this portion should be at least 3/4 of the plate. Now, let's go to grain foods. And it says here, choose whole grain foods. Excellent, whole grains. So you can see here some kind of grain, some kind of rice here, pasta, some type of grain. It's hard to see with black and white, and then of course a piece of bread. So this means that minimum 50% of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. They don't specify exactly what percentage fruits and what percentage vegetable. Then 1/4, 25% of your diet should be grains, whole grains, which is a great thing that they're doing, is they're specifying whole grains. Specifying whole grains. And here, eat protein foods. So this is somewhat misleading. This category here, 25%, is misleading, because now it's saying that this part and this part have absolutely no protein. So what they might be saying is eat foods that are higher in protein. Okay? So this eat protein foods is really misleading, because what they should have said is eat foods higher in protein, or eat higher protein foods instead of just protein foods, because everything has protein in it and adequate amounts of protein. As the World Health Organization says, that minimum of 2.5% of our calories, total calories, should be coming from protein. Minimum of 2.5% of our total calories coming from protein. Now, I really don't know what these are. These can be beans. These can be, like, it's really hard to see with it being black and white. But this looks like an egg, like a cut up egg, hard boiled egg. These look like beans and some nuts. I don't know what this is. It could be a piece of meat or something. And this right here could be anything. Could be some kind of yogurt, even coconut yogurt or soy yogurt. We just don't know what that is. And here, this looks like blocks of tofu. And some kind of nuts and seeds here. Some kind of nuts and seeds. So really, and I don't know what this is here. See? I don't know what that is. But if you look at the whole entire plate here, and I would call it a power plate. Power plate actually is, I think, what Dr. Neil Barnard calls his plate, power plate. But anyways, I would say 3/4 of this plate are good. I mean, this grains is not optimal, but it's still good. There's good, better, and best. So this is good. It's not the best, but it's good. And it's good if it means getting people going vegan at least. I don't care what they eat as long as people get going vegan and eating vegan whole foods, not junk foods. Now, of course, once in a while eating Beyond Meat or any alternative meat products is a good thing. Whole foods is even better. Now let's go to the next page. Actually, no. Before we go to the next page, let's look at this. Make water your drink choice. So in the US, whatever they call the plate, the food guide, they have milk as the other little plate or little cup, have you. But here they're telling you, the Canadian government, make water your drink of choice. So that is a good thing. Make water your drink of choice. Now this is coming from Health Canada. Okay? Again, have plenty of vegetables and fruits. Eat well, live well. Eat a variety of healthy foods each day. Now let's go to the next page. So here it really doesn't say anything. It just says be mindful about your... Okay. Not much. Okay, so let's see. This is healthy eating recommendations. So healthy eating is more than the foods you eat. It's also about where, when, and why, and how you eat. Take time to eat. Very good. Be mindful of your eating habits. Excellent. This is really excellent recommendations. And take time to eat. It doesn't say how long to eat, but take time to eat. So don't eat in a hurry, but take time. Notice when you're hungry and when you're full. Of course, that's common sense, but people don't realize that. Cook more often. Plan what you eat. Now, cook more often. I would say eating raw is best, and they should have at least included some raw in this recommendation, but cook more often. This really doesn't mean anything, as in vegan advocacy or eating healthier. But I guess what they mean is don't go out to eat and cook more often at home. Involve others in planning and preparing meals. Yeah, so it's more fun and enjoyable. Enjoy your food. Culture and food traditions can be a part of healthy eating. Eat meals with others. So this is eat meals with others should have been under cook more often, because involve others in planning and preparing meals. I would have done this a little bit differently, but anyways, I would have said eat fruit. The whole thing would have been eat fruit, but not everyone's going to eat only fruit. Eat plenty of vegetables and fruits, whole grains, and protein foods. Okay, protein foods. Protein foods could be anything. Choose protein foods that come from plants more often. Okay. So eat plenty of vegetables and fruits, whole grains and foods, whole grain foods, and protein foods. So one thing that Canada Food Guide and Health Canada is really weak on is that they think that fruits, vegetables, whole grains do not have any protein, or very little. And they have another category again, protein foods. Choose foods with healthy fats instead of saturated fat. So here they're being ambiguous. They're not telling you the whole truth. And that's true. Saturated fat instead of saturated fat. But the industry, the meat, dairy, and egg industry, would be furious if they said limit or eliminate or limit your intake of animal products, meat, dairy, and eggs. Instead, they have to say saturated fat, because here, industry would be in an uproar. So they cannot say eliminate or minimize your intake of meat, dairy, and eggs. They cannot say that. So they have to put saturated fat, because most saturated fat comes from animal products. Some high saturated fatty foods are things like coconut and stuff like that. Maybe nuts and seeds, I believe, as well. Limit highly processed foods. Excellent. They should have said eliminate highly processed foods or minimize as much as possible. If you choose these foods, eat them less often and in small amounts. And they don't specify the amounts here, which in some way it's good, but some way it's not good. Because then people will be like, well, I can eat 2 handfuls, and that's small amounts, to them. So prepare meals and snacks using ingredients that have little to no added sodium, sugars, or saturated fat. That's good. Choose healthier menu options when eating out. Now, healthier, people would think, oh, chicken and fish, because people think chicken and fish are healthier. Now, this is a good thing. Make water your drink of choice. Replace sugary drinks with water. Now, instead of sugary drinks, they should have said sugary fruit drinks and colas, something like that. And here, this use food labels is very general. It doesn't really mean anything. Be aware that food marketing can influence your choices. Now, this is pretty good, this last sentence here, this last point. Be aware that food marketing can influence your choices. Now, they had to be very careful about what they said here. Otherwise, industry could have made a claim or sued them. If they said something like, I don't know, if they said it differently, they could have, again, be sued or made a claim against. But here they had to be very, very careful about what they said. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to the computer and I want to show you this plate they call food guide in color to see if maybe we can find out what these foods are exactly. So I'll be back in a moment. I'm back and I'm going to show you right here what these foods are. So as we saw here in this section, and this actually is rotating here. I want to pause it and put it back here. Okay. So let's make this screen bigger. If we can. Hold on one second. Actually, no, it's okay. Okay, so as you can see here, that's broccoli, carrots, berries, apples, tomatoes. Yes, that's peppers actually. So that's a fruit. So that's sweet peppers, and that could also be cucumber, the green stuff. These are potatoes, and I think on the left side is either squash or sweet potato. Now, these grains are some kind of grains here, and pasta. This is ambiguous. I don't know what this white thing is there. This white thing could be some kind of margarine, butter, or most likely yogurt, or even sour cream, or anything like that. And it could either be plant-based or meat. These really look like tofu. These, of course, are beans. This one looks like, to me, like a fish. That's, of course, an egg. This, to me, this one right here could be either tofu based or some kind of meat. And this also really looks like meat. But then again, it could be deceiving. It could be tofu. We don't really know. These are, of course, nuts. That's some kind of soybean. I don't know if it's soybean or what it is exactly. These look like pumpkin seeds. Of course, these look like lima beans, if I'm not mistaken. Those look like, I can't remember the names of those, but this is an egg for sure. So we know there's egg, and we know there's some kind of substance these substances may not be vegan. Almost not vegan, okay? So this part here, right here, in color, is not vegan at all. Okay? There's only a few things in between that are vegan. This looks really like fish in my eyes. This is definitely an egg. Now, this whole thing technically could be plant-based, and you could have an egg just like that vegan. You can have a fish just like that vegan. You can have meat just like that vegan. You can have sour cream or some kind of yogurt vegan. Definitely these are tofu. So all this can be veganized. All of this. Whatever here is not vegan can be veganized and still contain substantial amounts of protein. Okay? So that's really what I wanted to mention here, is just look at that plate. And here they have more information, more than the pamphlet gave us. So food choices, let's see what they offer here. I'm going to check this out here. So food choices. So this is the same thing that the book, the pamphlet had. So when you click on each of these, I guess it goes into more detail. Okay, so here we go. Protein foods such as legumes, lean meats, lower fat yogurt. So they do promote animal products, as you can see, yogurt and legumes. Yogurt and meat. So which means that on that picture that we were just seeing a moment ago, those things must have been meat and yogurt if they're advertising it here, or if they're promoting it here. So the things that were on the plate as well could have been quinoa, wild rice, and whole grain pasta. And then also the stuff on the other side, on the left side, was apples, carrots, and broccoli. So let's just go to recipes for a moment and see what the recipes include. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to choose a few options. So classic overnight oats. So here we have yogurt, lower fat plain yogurt, and lower fat milk or unsweetened fortified soy beverage or water. So there you go. It's totally not vegan. Let's go to another breakfast. Okay, 6 eggs. 6 eggs. Holy, for one meal. Oh, serves 4. Okay. So 1.5 egg for each person, I believe. Yeah. 1.5 egg for each person. Skim milk, canola oil. Oh boy. So they don't realize that you can make this vegan. You can substitute for the egg, you can substitute scrambled tofu. So you can put tofu in there with a little bit of turmeric and black salt. Then for the skim milk, you can substitute other plant alternatives, plant milks. And for the canola oil, you can use coconut oil. Is much better. But then again, I would limit or eliminate totally oils and just use a non-stick pan and use water. Okay, let's try another breakfast item. Strawberry pancakes. Let's try this. Skim milk, 1 egg. Skim milk and 1 egg. So it's not telling us to eliminate animal products. You can substitute milk again for alternative milk products like soy and hemp and coconut and oat and all sorts of other. An egg, you can replace it with applesauce, or you can replace it with banana, or you can replace it with ground flaxseed, or you can replace it with egg replacer, all sorts of things. Okay? So there's no excuse for animal abuse and animal use. Let's try lunch and dinner. Cheesy broccoli toast. Again, cheesy. Light cheddar cheese, grated. Light, okay, so it's gonna have a little bit less fat maybe, but light cheddar cheese. Wow. It doesn't even tell you what type of bread. It just says whole grain bread. And a lot of whole grain bread includes a lot of chemicals and a lot of animal ingredients. So let's see, colorful quinoa salad. So far, all the meals that I checked out all have animal ingredients in them. Let's see. Quinoa, sodium reduced vegetable broth, minced garlic, carrot, thyme, canola. Okay, so this one seems like it is vegan. So the first recipe that's vegan. Okay, which is good. So this is a salad, and good thing it doesn't have any chicken on top or anything like that. Now let's see, lentil soup. Let's try out this ginger lentil soup. Canola oil, onion, garlic, ginger, cumin, black pepper, carrots, lentils, and vegetable broth. Good. So it doesn't say chicken broth or doesn't say beef broth or anything like that. So, and it says here, no added salt. Great. No added salt in that. So there's another meal that's fully vegan. Lunchbox tuna salad wrap. Coleslaw. Okay, let's see about the coleslaw and what that includes. Coleslaw. I thought coleslaw would have been mayonnaise or something like that, but red cabbage or green cabbage, carrots, onion, vegetable oil, vinegar, and pepper to taste. Excellent. Another vegan item. So they do have a lot of vegan items. Let's see. Potato pancakes. Let's see. Carrots, potatoes, onions, flour, baking powder. Excellent. No animal ingredients again. Oh, let's go back. I missed that. 4 eggs. 4 eggs. So each person will have 1 egg. Wow, a lot of cholesterol in the diet. Added cholesterol, which we don't need. Let's see. Okay, let's try this dish right here, which is a Middle Eastern dish. Olive oil, onions, cumin, brown or wild rice, and lentils. Now, why would you need sodium reduced lentils? Doesn't make sense. Lentil is just lentil. So you don't need to reduce your sodium. You need to reduce the salt intake. The salt intake. Natural sodium from plants is all right, even in larger quantities. Here, mac and cheese with a veggie twist. Here we go. Let's see what it says here. Whole grain macaroni. Hydrogenated, non-hydrogenated margarine. Okay, so that's a good start, non-hydrogenated. But margarine is almost never vegan. It contains whey, which is a byproduct of milk or an ingredient of milk. Onion, garlic, carrot, bell pepper, zucchini, flour. It just says all-purpose flour. Skim milk could be alternative milk. Thyme, cheddar cheese, light old cheddar cheese. That could be substitute for vegan cheese. But then again, it's not a whole food. So, but you can make cheddar cheese from, what's that? You can make cheddar cheese from ackee. So ackee is a plant, and if you get really a ripe ackee, you can substitute it for cheese. And some people say if you put it in the dehydrator a little bit, it tastes more like cheese. Dijon mustard. So this not necessarily is a vegan product, though most Dijon mustards that I've seen are vegan. Pinch of fresh ground pepper. So this is not a vegan meal. So most meals here are not vegan. Let's see. Quinoa, vegetable casserole. See turkey up here. So really, people are praising the food guide. Let's go back, see what else they offer before I close this video. So let's go back. Let's go back. So you can, let's see what it says underwater. So there's more information. Lots of information here. You can click on each one and you can read all about it. It goes to a new page, of course. Changes on food labels. All kinds of things according to, wow, changes on food labels in the next 4 years. Be aware that food market. Let's see what they say here about food marketing. Branding. So it's general thing about food marketing and what you need to know about it. So it really doesn't talk about the meat, dairy, and eggs. It just says marketing and promoting these food, in general. Let's see, limit highly processed foods. See, sodium is good, but not in the processed form, the added form. Processed sugars are not good, but sugars and fruit are good. So here it's really vague, sodium is sugar. And so people think, oh, sugar, so don't eat fruit, limit fruit, eat more vegetables. And that's why the government of Canada says eat your vegetables and fruits. And they put vegetable first in front of fruit. Processed meats. All processed meats. All meats are processed in some way. So really, eating too much has been linked to higher risk of colorectal cancer. Can also be called colon cancer or rectal cancer. Healthy snacks. Hard-boiled eggs is a healthy snack. Again, protein foods right here. Protein foods. They're being very, very misleading. Very misleading. Again, choose healthier menu options. What means healthier? Could mean anything. Okay, let's go back. Go back and let's go to the main page here. Eating habits, tips, resources, all this stuff. And they have in so many different languages. All this stuff, okay. Let's see what it says about being mindful of your eating habits. How did you eat? Did you eat slowly? Were you distracted? Did you eat with others? Why you ate? Were you hungry? Was it offered to you? when you ate, what time was it, how long, all this stuff, further reading. So it's not bad. The food guide is definitely not bad, but it definitely could be improved, for sure. Cook more often. Let's see what this says. Benefits of cooking. Choose protein foods that come from plants more often. Look what it says here. Choose protein foods that come from plants more often. But a lot of the ingredients, a lot of the recipes included meat, dairy, and eggs. So this is misleading here. Canned tuna or salmon to add to a salad or sandwich. Okay. So a lot of this is really misleading, especially when it says protein foods. And eat more plants. So these are really misleading. Eat more plants than other foods. Meal planning, bunning on a budget, healthy snacks, school, home, all this stuff. So again, the food guide is definitely a good step in the direction. And over the years, it's going to get even better and better. So next 4 or 5 years, when veganism skyrockets, especially whole foods, whole plant foods, we're going to see this section, most of this section, get wiped out from the whole entire plate. You're going to start seeing more people eating fruits and vegetables, more recommendations for fruits and vegetables, a little bit less for whole grains, and definitely less for this section, especially the dairy, the eggs, and the meat. So now we know from their recommendations and the meals and the recipes that they offer, these are definitely eggs, meat, and that is some kind of yogurt, and that is probably a fish. So now we know that this plate is definitely not vegan. It's not vegan, but it contains more vegan options. It contains more plants than ever. And it does not say up here, to drink milk, which is great. So, in contrast, let's look at the U.S. Food Guide, the United States Food Guide. I don't know what is it called, but U.S. Government Official Food Guide. Now, they call it choosemyplate.gov. It's not loading for some reason. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but their website does not work. So it's called My Plate, and the Neil Bernard was Power Plate. Okay, I got those mixed up. Okay, so it just seems like their website is down, which is crazy because the government's websites are usually never down, but here it seems like it's down for some reason. So let's see if we can find some images. So here is the Choose My Plate. Okay. Fruits, vegetables, grains, and protein. It's pretty good. It's just like the Canadian one. But here we have dairy, as you can see, dairy right there. Okay? So that's the only difference, is that dairy is still a big part of dairy producers will still have a big part influence in U.S. government. But it's still not bad. But they have to change the protein section and call it something different, because everything here has protein in it. So this is again misleading, just like the Canadian food guide. So that's about it, everyone. Thanks for joining me. I know this has been a longer video, but this is really goes into the details. If you want to know more and you want to read everything to do with the Canada's Food Guide, do please check out the website. I'm not recommending that you follow the food guide by any means, but just to give you information about what the Canada government is really recommending. And it's definitely a really good step in the right direction, but it's definitely not vegan. It's definitely not whole food. It's emphasizing more whole foods. It's definitely emphasizing eating less processed foods, but it's definitely not vegan. That's for sure. So thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, like it, share it around with all your friends and family, and don't forget to give this video, again, a thumbs up, but also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to my email newsletter list. And what else? Get my books, because I know you're going to love my books, just like this one, Return to the Gentle Sea for the Love That Lives in Everyone. Get that book. The new version will be out very shortly, but you can get the version, 0.13 version, on anywhere, basically, on Amazon throughout the world. And it's going to be available also through libraries in North America. So stay tuned for that. And what else? I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share this video if you liked it. And I love you all. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.